Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty, I first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone. She wheeled her wheelbarrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and fossils, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and fossils, alive, alive, oh. She was a fishmonger, and for sure it was no wonder, so were her father and mother before, as they both wheeled their barrows through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and fossils, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and fossils, alive, alive, oh. She died of a fever, and no one could save her, and that was the end of sweet Molly Malone. Now a ghost wheels her barrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Between 1892 and 1943, they had to pass through a processing station there on the island, and they had to do a medical examination, had to do a mental agility test to make sure that they were sane and they were okay to become citizens of the United States. 17 million people passed through it, and today it's a museum, and I tell you, if you think your problems, go in there and see, wow, what these people had to go through. Something similar to the refugees that are leaving Syria now, God love them. But when you're looking at the sepia photographs of Irish, Polish, Greeks, Italians, Germans, Scandinavians, none of whom could speak English. Even the Irish couldn't speak English, they were speaking Gaelic. Your heart would go out to them, because all they have is what they carry in their hands. And you talk about your heroes today, well, they're the real heroes as far as I was concerned. But there is a little statue on the island. It's a girl, she's only 15 years of age. She's standing there with her two younger brothers, this bronze statue, this piece of sculpture, and she was the first person to be processed through the system on Ellis Island. Her name was Annie Moore, and she's with her two brothers, 12 years of age, 8 years of age. And she travelled across the Atlantic in a sailing ship, not much better than a cargo ship, really. That we used to call them coffin ships in Ireland, because most of the people died on them. And her parents had already emigrated to America 2 years previously, and they couldn't afford to bring the children out. Saved up the money and eventually bring their kids out. So, I mean, you would get it hard to put your daughters on a plane to cross the Atlantic, don't mind on a ship with 200 other poor souls. But anyway, an Irishman called, when she stepped off the boat, the mayor of New York presented her with a $10 gold coin to mark the occasion, because she was the first to be processed through the system. This is a story of emigration. It's a sad song, but very appropriate for the folks that are here, remind them of home. And it's called Isle of Hope, Isle of Tears. And the isle we're speaking about, of course, is Ellis Island in New York Harbour. And it's the song of Annie Moore. And it goes like this. On the first day of January 1892, they opened Ellis Island and they let the people through. And the first to cross the threshold of that Isle of Hope and Tears was Annie Moore from Ireland, who was only 15 years. Isle of Hope, Isle of Tears, Isle of Freedom, Isle of Fears. But it's not the isle you left behind, that Isle of Hunger, Isle of Pain, Isle you'll never see again. But the Isle of Home is always on your mind. In her little bag she carried all her past and history, and her dreams for the future in the land of liberty. And courage is the passport when your old world disappears, 'cause there's no future in the past when you are 15 years. I love hope, I love tears, I love freedom, I love fears, but it's not the isle you left behind that I love hunger, I love pain, isle you'll never see again. But the Isle of Home is always on your mind. When they closed down Ellis Island in 1943, 17 million people had come there for sanctuary. And in springtime when I came here and I stepped onto its piers, I thought of how it must have been when you are 15 years. I love hope, I love tears, I love freedom, I love fears, but it's not the isle you left behind that I love hunger, I love pain, isle you'll never see again. But the Isle of Home is always on your mind. But the Isle of Home is always on your mind.